You're watching Dr. Abira Sankofa. DRASK. Hashtag Queen of Weirdos.
Death is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The cemeteries are full of people who've passed from a preventative illness. With the correct approach, you not only extend your chances of preserving your life, but you will improve the quality of your life with the natural approach. The earth provides energy healing herbs for the benefit of mankind.
Hello, I'm Amira Sankofa Kwali here at As Life Coaching Ministries. We're located at 1921 West Broadway. We've been in the healing business for over 20 years. To order my products, go to www.as314life.com. I'm available 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. No Michelle.
All right, y'all. I have my sister Angel. Give her a second. Now, I probably should have put my little mic up and put my little mic on so y'all can hear me, but I'm not camming up today because today I got a headscarf on. I still got my pajama jams on, so I'm not camming up so y'all can talk about me. Oh no, I will not be seen like this. Only the people that's going to see me is my husband and the mailman when they come, and I'm just going to stick my head out the door and get my stuff. They'll probably see an arm. All right. Anyway, so I'm extremely excited. Everything is going the way it need to go, I guess. I reckon. So everybody want to call me in a second. I'm telling everybody hits me up in a second. Give me a second here. I definitely want to get started with my movie review.
How y'all doing? Hey, Rain and Wabin, thank you for coming. Good to see you again.
Okay, so today is yay. Okay, y'all. Now, let me check. Let me type it. Let me look in the chat. There we go. Hi, Wombon. How you doing, sweetie? Anyway, so today we're going to do a movie review, and this particular movie really touches my soul and my energy because I understand this process, and I wish that my mother who raised me had lived and we could have maybe processed this. I think this would have been great for us. Never met, don't recall the foster mom though, but that's another story. Anyway, so let's talk about the movie. Sister Angel, go ahead and go with the movie. What you think? What you think, but do your whole little rundown of it first.
All right. Well, family, let me first tell you a little bit about the plot. This is in Boston in the early 1960s. Geraldine Cummins was walking home alone from the movies when she was jumped and raped by a black man. Yes, family, it's horrible. It was stunned. She returned home to her husband, Bob, stating she had been raped. Sometime later, she finds she is pregnant. In the beginning, she hates the thought of her unborn baby, not wanting a constant reminder of her rapist. She's not sure if it's her baby or her husband's baby, but keeps it for a few reasons. First of all, she is a Catholic, and she harbors a small hope that it could be her husband's baby. Her husband is very supportive during the pregnancy. As the months pass, Jerry comes to be attached to the baby, later stating 8 months is too long to close your heart to a piece of yourself. She becomes fearful of what will happen if her baby is black, the social isolation it would receive, and what people would think of her, because this is a white mother, a white father who got raped by a black man. She's not sure if the baby's going to come out black or white. She doesn't know if it's going to be from the rapist or the father, but either way, her husband was very supportive. And after going into labor and confiding in a doctor, her situation, she becomes convinced that it would be best if she gave it up. The
Mm.
baby is a black girl. She names her newborn daughter Barbara Ann Cummings and gives her to foster mother Corrine Barrow, a black woman who plays, what's that actress name, honey?
Lynn Whitfield.
Glenn Whitfield. And
Lynn
yeah,
Whitfield.
Lynn Whitfield. Isn't that interesting? Because the last movie we've seen about she was a mother who gave her daughter away. Wasn't it Lynn Whitfield again that
Yeah,
played in that other movie?
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that she plays those parts, and she does a fantastic job. So, yeah, so this is what the plot is, family. It's a white woman with her white husband living a great life, and one day she's walking home and gets raped by a black man. Her husband saying, "Honey, it could be mine." Come to find out,
Mm.
you take it from there, Dr. Mary. Let's talk about it.
It's not his. It's a black baby. And for me, I just, man, I thought it was a really, I really wanted to give the movie a chance. First of all, let's make sure that I tell you all, for those that do not know, I actually, very first time I saw this movie, it was on Sister Angel's channel. So let's be clear about that. Sister Angel was the one that helped game for me to see such a film. And I'm like, dang, was Sister Angel in my head? This Sister Angel say, well, let me put this. I'm like, dang, she trying to make me revisit this or what? That's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, really? But it was a great revisit, you know. So the movie started off, she was in this foster home with this Lynn Whitfield's character. I can't recall her name, but little Barbara Ann was in there with her, and she was really what is the word? Nurturing. She was very nurturing. She already had
Yeah,
other children, you know what I mean? And her doing foster care was how that was how she was able to also pay bills. Let's be honest. But at the same time, while she was able to pay bills, she was able to also provide a great living because she loved doing it. It wasn't just that she loved children. It wasn't just a situation where she just loved to pay bills, but it did help her pay bills. Let's be real, right? But
yes,
this woman actually loved providing this home for these children. She loved children. Okay. See, that's what, you know, that's what is not really like that for many of our children that go into foster care. Now, I'm not saying, it's a lot of families out there who really love to help and provide the standard of living. And she even wanted to adopt her, but she already had children. And of course, the foster workers were basically like, but you know, we got somewhere else for her to go. So, you know, and she kept on insisting. The little girl did not want to go. And I myself had been in a situation to share you all that personally, because you all know that I'm going through adoption. And the little particular child wanted to stay with the foster mom, which is why we didn't pursue that adoption, because we knew it would have been too much. It would have been more traumatic because the particular child wanted to stay with the foster mom. And sure, we could have gotten used to it, but you know, you don't want to add to their pain. But nevertheless, the caseworkers came in, forced her out, and then it was a situation where she had a picture of them. You know, she had a picture with the foster mom. She had a picture with the her foster siblings, right? And the caseworkers didn't want her to take it, and so it dropped on the floor, and it was broke. It broke into pieces because it was in a glass frame. Okay.
right.
So she boards this plane, and she's just really unaware about what she's getting ready to get involved in. Okay. And the anticipation, the fear, anxiety of leaving somewhere, being snatched out of a happy place, you know, with happy people, and that experience, you know, and then going into a charter unknown, right?
Right, right.
So she gets to the other area, and it's a white woman, you know, and because the argument was that because she was biracial, that a white family could take her. Okay. So she was half, you know, obviously half white, half black. So she could have a white family who didn't mind adopting her, who was in love, that could certainly provide a better home for her. So nevertheless, although the foster mom was black, I forgot to leave. I left that out. That was
But you know what, Dr. Mara, watching this movie, what I didn't understand and what was very frustrating
mm-hmm.
is the fact that in this movie, the little girl wanted to stay with the foster mom,
Right.
Lynn Whitfield, that played Lynn Whitfield. And Lynn Whitfield wanted her to be there as well. But it made me feel like because she was half white, the lady said, well, we're trying to get her up out of this neighborhood, basically. And it to me, it's like they probably weren't doing that with all the other babies who were all black. I'm just
Of
saying.
course. Well, that's a portion of it, and just knowing that, because I've been in the system on both ends. I'm a adoptive parent as well as an adoptee, right?
Right.
One of the things that I do know for a fact is that the children do get attached to the foster parent, and a lot of times, and to be honest with you, the child may have gone through so much in their life, whereas they may not, they, like the little girl, will protest because that's what they're used to. That's the only home that they know, right? And so
Right.
you have and then the foster mom or parent may not want to keep them because they might have some behavior malfunctions, right?
Right.
Or they may only be a foster home, period. But nowadays, so back then it was a little differently. Nowadays, if you are a foster parent, you're gonna have first, and I hate to use it like this, I hate to say these words, but this is the market. Okay, this is a market. I'm telling you, it's a business. It is. And the foster mom or the foster parent has first dibs on adopting a child, so they will have that option. So if they choose to say, well, hey, we'll go ahead and keep the child, and then at some point they will make the foster home into adoptive situation. Because I'm telling you, it'll be a whole bunch of children on the website. You will go and be like, oh my God, I want this particular child, or I would like to know more about this child. And then they'll put the child is up for adoption, right? And then
Right. 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 Right.
you get ready to do an interview for the child to see if if it's a match. The caseworker would email you and say, hey, the foster home decided to keep the child. Now, whereas we were in a situation where we had multiple interviews and the foster parent wanted to keep the child. And then they change their mind and they don't want to keep them. It's like, okay, well, no, you know what I mean? So it's almost like a game. It's like a game because, you become attached. If after meeting the child, interviewing with the child, getting to know the child, and even if the child has malfunctions, behavior, you nevertheless, because you understand how the system is and you understand what they went through, you still may want them, right?
Exactly.
And it's difficult. And just imagine a foster parent who clearly wants the child and get attached to the child, and think about for the foster, because it's supposed to be a temporary situation, if they're not going on for adoption, if it's because the whole goal is to unification is what they call it, because they want them back with their parents. So their parents might have like a drug addiction, and you understand that. And they
Right.
may decide that they want to go back, where the parent has stopped using drugs, they went to rehab, and they have a stable environment, they got them a job. And so, of course, it makes sense for the child to go back into the situation. Or if they was in a relationship with abusive other parent, and that parent left them, the person got arrested, and the person got counseling and do whatever the state asked them to do, and they're going to put them back in home. And sometimes it's not for the best. Okay. And the child is further traumatized. Then you take the child out of that area and put them back into a completely different foster home, because the foster parent may not be fostering anymore, or the child or the foster parent may not want that child anymore, or it's just not it's just not, or the home is too full. You know what I mean? And so you take them in a complete home. So of course they're going to have some behavior issues. Think about it,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
nevertheless, this lady, she goes, this little girl. So she meets these parents. She meets a white mom or a white father. And she's looking up at them. And of course, the man, you can already kind of tell his energy. He don't really want the little girl. He just be like, this is your project. He's looking at it. You peep that. He's looking at it more or less as a project. Like, that's your project. And yeah, she calls me dad, cool. But nevertheless, I'm going to work and pay the bills. You go ahead and do what you need to do. He didn't feel like, as a parent, you do have to kind of sacrifice. And of course, the foster mom, she was trying to connect with the little girl as best as she can.
But let's take it back a little bit, Dr. Mary. When we see the way the movie was set up in the beginning, we see this white woman. She gets raped by this black young man, and she ends up pregnant. Her husband's very supportive, even though he knows the baby may not be his. So the baby comes out, and the baby is black. This mother in the movie, and I'm going to put the link so you guys can watch it. It wasn't like, and I think this happens to a lot of people who adopt out their children. A lot of times they really don't want to. They love the baby.
Of course.
They don't want to give it up. But because at that time, people were so racist. What are you doing with this black and white baby? She's married to a white man. It's just all this confusion. But
and she didn't want the child because it was black. I mean, let's be clear. We can't jump around there. She personally did not want this child because this child was, number one, by her rapist. Okay.
Right.
Two, it was a black child. She didn't want no black
child. Right. Now, one thing I did learn in this movie that's very, very important. When it comes to you making a big decision about giving up a baby or business or whatever it is, if something in your spirit says, let's go back to the home and see if we can see the baby, they had rules at that time when and they still have them today. In some instances, when you give up the baby, sometimes you're not allowed to contact that family. That little girl, that she was still attached to the white woman that had that little black baby, she really wanted to go back to Lynn Whitfield's house,
right,
where actually her little baby still was. But her husband said, what did he say? No, she's been gone, right?
Right.
But she would have been able to see her little child once more again, and know that she was still with Lynn Whitfield. Would have gave her, because I think mothers just want some peace. They know they can't have the baby, but they want to know where their baby at. How's my baby doing? You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times when people, and I think the rules should be changed a little bit when it comes to the baby. If they request some information, like how is the baby? Is she still in the same home? I think they should give that information to the family, even though they had to give up the baby, just to give them some kind of peace of mind. What do you think about that, Dr.?
Oh, I'm kind of split down the middle on that, because now I understand how my mother felt. Now that I have became a adoptive mother, I totally understand that, because it's kind of like you gave up your rights. You said, I, for whatever reason, cannot raise this child. So I think it's more traumatic. I think that if knowing now, and okay, so let me tell you the point of view of a adoptee, right? If I have had experience of at least at turning the age of 18, if they would have released those records then, I think my life, I'm going to be honest with y'all, my life is what my life is, right? But I think that I wouldn't have gone through so much. I wouldn't have been so, what is the word? Sabotaging. I wouldn't have sabotaged a lot of relationships, and I wouldn't have gone through all the things that I had went through if I would have been able to meet my biological mom. And my biological mom wouldn't have gone through all the things that she's gone through, because she was also self-sabotaging. You know what I'm saying? So if I hadn't,
Right,
we
right.
would have been able to at least meet at the age of 18. Now, I don't really think that that's fair in between the childhood, in between the ages of, when I was with my parents who raised me. I don't think that would have been fair, because it's kind of like a baby father, like child support. Like, basically, you take it on this child, we raising this child, we doing everything, and then they get to visit you or know more about you, but you gave up your rights. So because keep in mind that when you're giving up, now I don't know about back then, I do know that they do provide what they call a non-identifying information sheet. Okay, so basically it'll kind of break down your family. It'll tell you whatever they need to tell you as far as their family's concerned, your biological mom's side, and it'll tell you whatever you need to know for your biological family, biological father's side. So it may say, for example, you have a sickle cell your mom has a sickle cell trait, and you're like, well, damn, I got a sickle cell trait, right?
Right.
They have cancer that run in the family. It may say that they have a fraternal set of twins. In my case, I'm telling you basically I'm telling you my non-identifying information. That I had fraternal, my mother had a fraternal twin. Okay. It said that it's fraternal twin boy. It was fraternal twin. She was a fraternal twin, and her brother. It was her and her brother, right? And then she had an older sister at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? So I was given information. I was given some other information that she knew on my father, but of course things change. So she knew certain things that she did not know, and I have no idea to this day where all this stuff came from, because when I went to go and ask, normally I bet it's from his family. So when I go to find out when I go to talk to his family, they was like, well, did you know this? I was like breaking stuff down. I was like, well, how did you know that? And I'm like, well, non-identifying information provided that for me. They was like, oh, wow. So the point is that once you kind of give up, I think it's more traumatic to experience that. It's kind of like a win. It's kind of like a win in the sense of, okay, well, now I do know more about my child that I gave up, but at the same time, it's very tragic, because you had to give your child up for whatever reason, or if state took your child. And Sister Angel, let me tell you something too. As an adoptive parent, if you read some of those files, I'm not getting ready to get into specifics, but I will tell you all that reading some of those files, I would never, once I get, it depends on what states. Like if you go through states, going through state versus going through like a private adoption, because I went through a private adoption. My mother put me into Lutheran Family Services. That's where she put me at. I didn't go through state. And I asked, I said, what made you want to go through state? And she basically told me, well, why did she go through state? And she was like, well, she didn't want to go through state because she heard a lot of horror stories, and she wanted me to be placed in a nice foster home adoption home, because she had my adoption records were semi-closed, and she was told that if it was semi-closed that she would be able to find me. That wasn't true. They lied to her. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Number one. Number two, she also was given, and one day I'm gonna let her tell the story. One day I'm gonna put on the channel and tell the story. But I'm like, look, you can't be breaking down and getting emotional. That's how I be talking. I'm like, look, lady, you can't be getting emotional.
Yeah, that is very emotional.
But so they had basically told her, and then she had to go to court and swear that she would not contact me anymore. And they lied to her. They also told her that I would be getting adopted right off. So she thought as soon as they came and got me, because they didn't let her see it. See, those days, they won't even let you see your child. She didn't even know how it looked. The nurse was like, well, she's brown skinned and she got big old eyes like you. You know what I mean? So she knew that much. You know what I mean? But she didn't know nothing else. And so what they did was they put me into a foster home. And then within the 6 months, my family came in and got me and adopted me, right? But she was told that I was adopted right off because there may possibly been a way for her to make a situation. But I mean, at the age of 14, 15, not necessarily so. However, back to the story. back to the point I'm trying to make is that it's like a catch-21. It's a difficult situation because you have this foster mom. I mean, you have this foster. I mean, you have this a parent, biological parent, who does love this child in most cases. Sometimes they don't give a damn, Angel. Let's be honest. Sometimes they
Okay.
don't give a damn. They don't need no contact with this child because they was crazy, abusive, or whatever, or they don't have any kind of feeling. Because I've heard a lot of horror stories in, going into a lot of these adoptee communities where when people, I had a great story. My story turned out pretty good because my biological mom came here, visited my children. My children love her too. And we all had a good time. They talked to her every day. I talked to her every day. And now that they have video chat, I gave her a phone. So now she could like see me. I'll go around the house. She'd be like, oh, you got this, you got that, whatever. So, think about that when the biological parent has this, thing of wanting to, feel this energy, wanting to be loved and having to give up her child for whatever reason. And it's kind of like, but she had to, you know what I mean? Because she didn't have a place to live, right? And then you have the foster parent who is just really housing the child. But in my case, was a lot of children, they weren't gonna adopt me. They was a straight up strictly foster home. They was getting paid. They was cool people from what I'm told. And I was attached to the father. Okay. And then you have the side of the story, which the movie tells you about. Then you have the adoptive family. Because my mother, who had me, could not have any children. She could get pregnant, but she kept having miscarriages after miscarriages after miscarriages. And she was very a nurturing, good woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wanted a child. My father wanted a child as well. And they had consistent blended families within their family anyway. So it really wouldn't have mattered by them adopting. And so my mother was very attached to me. I was not so much, and I'm being honest with you all, I wasn't really attached to my mother. I was attached to my father. I don't know why that was. I'm still attached to my father, but my mother, I wasn't really attached to. So I can relate to the character Barbara. She loved she loved her adoptive mom, but it was just a disconnection. It was it wasn't just now. Okay, let me go back into the story, y'all. So you got three different sides of the coin. You got the biological mom, you got the foster mom who loves the child, the biological mom, in this case, loved the child, and then you got the adoptive mother who loves the child. Right. Okay, so you got these three entities, and basically the child don't know nothing. The child knows the foster home or the woman in the foster home. She doesn't know her biological mom, and now she knows her adoptive mom. And so she's in a situation where she visits these folks and she looks at them, and man, it's a lot of cracks in the system. I don't like how the system is ran, to be honest with you, but that's a whole nother video, y'all. Once I adopt my child,
right,
my children, I'm gonna give y'all the real. I can't do it right now, but I'm gonna tell y'all the real. I'm just gonna say this: I don't like how the system is ran and the way that they do things. And I was told that it was worse back in the day. You know what I mean? It feels like well, I'm not gonna go there. But I'll just say it's all about. I think sometimes they will. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that certain races, like in this particular case, I think sometimes nowadays they will place the black child in this white family more or less now. And I was thinking, to me, when I first got into the system, I thought it was a situation where not enough of us was adopting, and we do need more black families that's willing to adopt. However, in a lot of cases, I think that a lot of times they are more willing to allow the white families to adopt them. And it's way more now when you look in the system. I'm like, well, if all these children need to be adopted, how come we're getting, I don't want to say the table scraps, but it's kind of like they will give you how can I say? I don't want to. Okay, how can I say? They will give you a child that has way more issues. They'll be willing to give you a child that have way more issues as a black family. For me, what I've kind of noticed, if you're going through if you're going through the state is a little bit set up differently versus you paying for the child, because the state is kind of free. You got certain costs that you have to pay for the most part. State is free. If you go to a private adoption home, then you're gonna be shelling out like the amount that you're paying for a house.
Right.
And so with this particular family, so to answer your question, I'm kind of like on that. I'm half and half on that. I had to explain that to you so you can I had to explain it to you all so y'all can kind of understand why I say the way that I say. I still think that child should be in their home for 18 months. I don't necessarily agree because that's not something I'm going for. I'm not going to agree to show if I'm raising this child, your child that you gave up, I'm not going to be sending you no pictures. When you go to private homes, they want you to do that. That's what they want you to do in the private home. That's the thing I didn't like about that, because I'm paying $35,000, y'all, or I'm paying $15,000. It doesn't matter to adopt this child. Plus, I got to pay for a lawyer, right? Plus, I provide a home for this child. I got to put up a college fund. Then I have to have money in my savings on top of that. And if I got a loan for that child, adoption loan, right? Then I'm going to have to pay monthly payments on the stuff or pay it off until I can pay it off. You feel me? Do that, and then to still be sending you pictures. I ain't sending you no mother flipping pictures. I'm just being real. You gave your child up. You lost the rights. I got to be honest.
Now, how about yeah, you're right. All that makes sense. I feel you on all that. Now, what about being able to know if the other party wants to connect? Because that would have been nice if you would have been able to ask that question: has my mom wanted to connect with me? Or the mother can say, has my daughter wanted to connect with me now that she's past the age of 18? This way, if each party, if both parties wants it, then they're able to open the records because both of them have brought proper identification.
At 18, yes. At 18, absolutely. But only time I really began to start questioning about where I came from was when I hit 16. Because I had already had a child by then. So
and the reason why I would hope that they would change some of the things that they're doing is because there are mothers and daughters and sons and fathers that have wanted to both connect, but all the system is in the way. It would be nice if they made a law. Okay, if both have asked us to connect, we can open the records. Now, if one does, let's say you do. Let's say you say, I'd like to find my mother, but the mother has not addressed that yet. That you could still do your research.
They do have it kind of like that though. Okay, so now in the state of Missouri, you have it where you're giving your actual original birth certificate. So I was giving my original birth certificate, which is how I find my biological mom. If I was not given that, they did not have that. They just implemented that probably about 4 or 5 years ago. But I didn't know about the law until my husband I don't know what my husband was doing, but he brought it to my attention. I was like, really? And I sent off for it,
Oh, nice.
But that's how they have it in certain states. Every state is going to have a different law. And so, because my thing was I could have found my mother a long time ago, but I didn't have certain information that she didn't leave the best breadcrumbs. I'm going to be real with you. I told her I'm not really good about the breadcrumbs. If she had said that my biological father owned or he worked, she said that my biological father worked in a gas station. Like if she had said that my biological father had a ice cream parlor. If she would have said that, I would have found him right off as soon as I saw that identifying information. But she didn't put that in there. Because it's only a couple that was in St. Louis. It was Velvet Freeze, which was a very popular one, and he worked there. And he owned it. And I would have known, and I would have just walked up in there and looked at him, and he would have looked at me. He would have knew who I was. You know what I mean? But she didn't
Exactly.
drop the best breadcrumb. She said a gas station. And I was like, where did you get that from? She said, well, I met your biological grandfather, and he had on a one of those gas station shirts, and he owned a barbecue and a fish market spot. He owned a
Wow.
barbecue restaurant and a fish market in Decatur, Illinois. You know what I mean? So how would I'm telling y'all my business, but how would I how would
Right.
if she would have, even if she would have said that, I would have possibly been. So here I am for years and years and years looking for a black-owned gas station because
Right.
he said because it described him as, it said something in there, if I recall, something about him Indian, something about him being an Indian. So I didn't know if it was from India or Indian. You know what I mean?
Oh, right,
To that
right.
effect. So I really didn't know. So that's another backdrop. That's another situation. Okay, y'all. So, they don't leave the best breadcrumbs for, but she was only like 14, 15. She got pregnant at 14. She turned 15 a month before I was born, literally a month. Okay. And so that was certainly, if I would have known that, I'm telling you, I would have found it. But it's certain things that by her having fraternal twins, and I did know one of the things I did know for a fact about her, other than she had a sickle cell trait, the other thing that I knew, she went to a particular high school, and it was a high school in the city of St. Louis, and so I kind of was able to look through books, yearbook pictures, but I don't recall really seeing that picture, because if I would have saw that picture, man, that woman said, and that was me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But in her particular case, they didn't have that year. I kept looking for 73, 1973. I kept looking for 72, and I really did. And I feel like I've came across one particular picture, but I really didn't see that in me. If I would have shown somebody else that was there, then they would have been like, it's hard to see yourself, you know what I mean? But I'm telling y'all, it's a catch-22, because you as a biological mom, you're giving this child up because for whatever reason you can't keep the child. Let's say in a good case, let's say in a better case, a reasonable case, where you're basically like, well, I have to give the child up because I don't have a place to stay, or I got raped, or those measures, right? In the particular case that we're looking at, she gave her child up because the child was black first, and secondly it was rapist, right? Now, if the child had been white and it was from rape, then she probably would have kept it. She actually said that. She said, I gave you up because she was black. She kept it real, right?
Right.
So if so you're providing another family, you're blessing, because this is how I had to tell my biological mom. I said, do you realize that you blessed my mom, my other mom, and my father with a great home? You know what I mean? You provided them with a child that they could not have. If it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have had that child. And I did have a pretty decent upbringing. I mean, my parents was pretty cool. I gotta be honest with you. Look, my daddy was the bomb. My mom was pretty cool, man. So if it wasn't for that, then you know what I mean, I wouldn't have the lifestyle or the life that I have now. And I love my life, right?
Amen.
Through the bumps, bruises, the fires, the rain, the bridge I had to jump over, but I
Right.
love my life.
Amen. It's a beautiful thing, because I've always felt that, I don't know, I always felt that if people were adopted, that they were blessed. I mean, somebody wanted you. Somebody wanted you even though it didn't come out of their bloodline. Someone actually looked for you. Someone
Yeah,
took you as their own. I mean, you gotta know that is beautiful.
yeah,
There's
because
people
some
that,
children, yeah, let's be honest, okay? We're gonna be honest as women on this panel now. We gotta be real now, okay? Some of
okay,
these children you might have had, biologically, and you looking at like, oh Lord, this child's
right?
a piece of
Mhm.
work, rather than you going somewhere and you basically picking out your child. You're like, okay, I'll take him, I'll take her, I take him. Come on. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because
right.
you're choosing. See, when you have your child biologically, you don't have a choice. You get what you get.
You don't. Right? Right?
So
Let's be
I know I
real.
feel special. People used to tease me. They used to make me cry about being adopted, or because I don't look like my parents. And one day my mother, my mother looked at this. My mother looked at this little girl. My mother was a teacher now. My mother was a school teacher. But my mother was no joke though. She didn't play about her baby. She looked at this child. She said, "Look, I chose her. Your mama didn't choose you, so she's forced to love you."
Woo! She was right.
So I'm telling you, that was me, boy. I'm telling you, my mother was a Cancer. She was like a Cancer on the cusp of a Gemini. So she had a little mean streak, but she was a really sweet person. My mother was the sweetest person, hands down. Both my mothers were really sweet. I ain't gonna lie. But my mother who raised me is the sweetest person I've ever met in my whole entire life. I'm being honest with y'all, boy.
Wow.
You
What a
say
beautiful
me?
thing. Wow. What
That
a beautiful
evil
thing to
boy,
say
that
about
evil
your
come
mother.
out. That evil come out, y'all. And she told that little kid that, and they went and told their mom, and my mom was like, "What? Well, your child should have said nothing about my child being adopted. Don't worry about that. How about you need to raise your child how to talk to people, and we wouldn't have this problem."
Exactly. Exactly. Right?
But yeah, so the system is definitely flawed. Let's just agree. We can certainly agree that the system is flawed. I certainly agree with you, but I understand it's different parts to it. It's definitely different parts to it because everybody's emotionally charged because the foster mom is going to be emotionally charged because she does get attached to the child in most cases. And then you have the biological mom. That's her bloodline. She loved, what I mean, in most cases, and then you have the adopted family in most cases that actually want the child, they love a child, But I'm telling you, it's something else. It's something else. And I'm telling you, when I watched that movie, Angel, I was bawling over her. I was like, look, I had to cut something off.
Yeah, I hated it when she had to leave Lynn Whitfield house
Yeah.
because she was such a good mother.
She
And the
couldn't
little girl,
afford it, though. She really couldn't afford it. She wouldn't have been able to afford it because she would have had to adopt a child, right? And then she would have lost her foster care income.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And then she would have had to get a job and she would have had a babysitter. She was a single mother.
Wow.
So that would have been a very difficult situation for her. And she knew it. But she loved the child nevertheless. She was really good with her. She was really good with all the children.
Yeah.
And so when the little girl gets to the family, you can already tell, like I said, that the man is not really, connecting to her. He looks at it as a project because the foster mom kind of had a project energy about her, meaning that she really was a social worker mentally, a social worker mentally, and she really wanted to change the system. She was a do-gooder. She wanted to change the system, and sometimes that's not always the thing. Okay, sometimes that doesn't necessarily going to make you a parent. And based upon that energy, she was trying, but she was not connecting to that child. She didn't have that connection. There was a disconnect because number one, the child still wanted to be back with the adopted family, and the child was being teased, like, by Black people, like, oh, you think you better than you think you better because because you got a little white in you. And then so Black people will not accept her, white people will not accept her. So those are difficult feelings, those right there. So she already basically saw as an Oreo, and she got called an Oreo. And then the family did not really understand, could not really cope with that situation because they don't know what the plight of being Black was. So the mother said, well, let's move somewhere where the child can see both, can see Black folks and white folks, her own kind. So she was she was intelligent enough to try to do that. She was, sensitive. She cared enough to do that, right? And so the adoptive father was like, we ain't finna disrupt my whole entire life because my commute for work is a lot closer. And he didn't really connect to the child anyway. That was an excuse that he used because he as a parent, he wasn't really in it to be a parent. He was in it for you, and this is your project. and I'm just doing this to make you happy, but I'm not happy with this arrangement. And that's just being honest. And sometimes it's like that. In some cases, I mean, no more than being a stepmom or a stepfather. It can be difficult if that other parent passes away or something happens with the other parent, and then you as the step parent have to take on that responsibility, and now you have to reroute your whole entire life. So in a way, I mean, I can empathize with him too. I'm like, because that's not something he really was thinking about. He was just kind of like, well, I want to make her happy. I love her. But he loved her enough. He was like, oh no, I'm not finna commute. I don't connect to the little girl. The little girl calling him daddy. And he's just looking at her like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
He drops that body. As soon as he helped them move, he tells them, I hope that wasn't done that way. Okay. But according to the movie, he drops them off in the movie truck like, okay, well, I ain't going to be here. This is your project. Goodbye. The little girl's like, where are you going? He was like, I'll see you later. And it just burned down and left. You know,
wow. He had no attachment.
No.
Wow.
He did. I mean, it's like
not even to a young human being.
Man, it's like that sometimes. Sometimes it's difficult to form a bond. Now, I didn't really have that. I had a bond with my mother, but my bond was differently. It was very hard to attach to my mother. And for me, to be honest with you, it was not that she didn't try. I don't know what it was. Well, I do know what it was. For me, very great woman. I mean, y'all don't understand. This woman, if I read y'all her obituary is light-hearted compared to the type of person she was, or is, so to speak. This woman was the shit. No, like seriously. Not only was she degreed up, okay, very intelligent, an excellent homemaker, a great wife, a great mother, but it was just difficult because I don't know. It's just because of the fact that I was adopted, and because of the fact that I had a lot of resentment toward her. I had a lot of resentment. It wasn't really her that I had the resentment for. It was my biological mom that I kind of resented, which is why it was hard. But I took it out on her. Does that make sense? And
right.
I understood that I was able to bond with her more, but I didn't know it. You're a child, you don't know these things, but I had to get counseling. I had to go through that to understand. And that's what Barbara was going through. Barbara, because not only was the lady was detached too, let's be honest, she was trying, but she had detached too because now she had to work because her boy was, the provider. So now she had to go back to school. And then she got to the point where Barbara would be, y'all see her, she was always in that chair. She'll be in the chair and she'll be like, okay, I'll be coming home soon. Okay, I'll be here. Okay, make sure you study. Okay, I'll be home soon. And then be 10 years, 5 years, 6 years, you know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And she's in this chair. Then all of a sudden, she receives this call where she comes home and the little boy jumps out the window. You know what I mean? She's like, what the hell is going on? And she was like, well, I'm going on my boyfriend's house, right? Because she didn't develop that bond with her. She didn't really have that bond because she was too busy trying to work. Let's be honest. She was too busy trying to work on her career to really bond. So she withdrew when that man left. And she had some resentment for this child. See, I look at it a different way. She had some resentment toward that child because that man left. Let's keep it real.
Right. Exactly.
But she didn't develop a bond with her. Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, yeah, that's true.
And she met this guy in choir rehearsal, the little guy from Law and Order. He played and he was also in this Rent movie. Yeah, it was like a musical that used to be on Broadway. How do I know all this stuff? I'm weird. So he did a lot of great things. He's doing this bond thing, sis, and he's kind of cool. He's in a choir, he's singing. He was looking weird. Why did they fix his hair like that? I was like, oh, his hair is horrible. Why would they do that? Put that little rug on the top of his head. They could at least made a better weave. I seen better weaves on a dog.
Right.
or rug on the floor. Man, what was that piece of crap on top of his head, Sister Angel? Now, why you let your uncle come out like that?
I know that was crazy. It's like, hello. Oh man, but it's funny.
But go ahead, you go ahead, because I've been talking. I'm so I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling things today. But go ahead, you go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I want to overtalk you. You got a lot to say. You're a good person. You're beautiful. I love you.
No, you okay. You okay. No, the movie is just a really good movie. I put
Mhm.
a link in the description. You guys can go check out the movie. It's really, and I like the story because, you know, what do you do? You've been raped, and you don't,
Mhm.
and you're married. You don't know if this baby is going to be your husband's, and your husband saying, "Fine, if it is, I support you."
Right.
And then you're opposite race. You're thinking, man, what am I going to do?
And
They
then
don't
nobody
like
knew
him.
she gave her child up for adoption either. So that's
Right,
deep. That's deep, y'all. That's how I have my biological mind. Only certain people knew.
right. Wow. But it's a beautiful thing. I thought it was really beautiful when she was looking for her mother
Mm-hmm.
and she calls her on the phone. And her mother was so happy, that her daughter had contacted her. It was almost like she carried the love for this daughter all through the years. And, I tell people who have been adopted because me being in juvenile hall, administering to women who are incarcerated, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the troubles come from, not knowing who their parents were.
A
And
man.
even though some of us look at it as, this is beautiful, you were adopted, wow. But to the other side, as a child that is adopted, they always feel like, well, why didn't they want me? It doesn't matter what the story is. They still feel this disconnect of, well, this really isn't my mother. Who is my mother? Who is my father? So you go through all these emotional things. And when I'm seeing this young girl looking for her mother, and then she's starting her family,
Mm-hmm.
getting married, and a sweet girl, and hoping that she can connect with her mom. You go through the stages of both sides. It's not just the mother who's given up on the child, it's the child wanting to, really know who they are. It's so important to know who you are. And it really affects people when you are adopted and you never connect again with your, like, I knew this lady that actually got me into prison ministry,
Mm-hmm.
and she had given away her son when he was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up having two other sons. Well, she decided to go look for that son. Well, the son told her straight up, I'm glad that you found me, but I don't want to have anything to do with you, period. And she hated that. She used to always tell me, my son, she said, I found him on Facebook. She was looking at the pictures, and her son was an amazing guy. He ended up actually adopting children. And that's another thing. Sometimes when people been there, they want to give back. They know what it feels like to go from home to home, not knowing who your parents are, not knowing if you're really loved, especially when they snatch you out these homes that you really wanted to stay. Sometimes they didn't want you to stay no more. So you're going through all this emotional
They don't
energy.
tell you that, and they don't have the balls to tell you, "Hey, I don't want you as the foster mom." So you, as the adoptive parent, looking like the enemy. You know what I'm saying? You
Exactly.
looking like the
Exactly.
enemy. This parent is the one that didn't want you there. I want you. You know.
Exactly. So you're going through this type of stuff, and I never forget when she was telling me how her her son had nothing, didn't want to have nothing to do with her. In a sense, I kind of understood how he felt,
Of course.
because when he looked at her Facebook, she has her other two sons who's giving all the love, bragging about them and how wonderful they are and how great they are. And he was thinking, well, what was wrong with me? You got rid of me, but yet you had another one. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. I get that, their side of how they feel.
I totally understand that. For me, let me tell you something. I think what helped me through my process of being adopted in that sense was my mother. My mother was like, look, your mama loved you. You know what I mean? I got
Amen.
that into, she was like, look, she could not afford to take care of you. She could not take care of you. And they instilled that in me. My father instilled that in me. They just said my mother. They didn't say nothing about the father. They just like, well, your mother loves you. So you have to, don't be angry with her. Don't be angry.
Right. Oh,
Because
that's
she
nice.
did the best that she could do. She was young. You know what I mean? And she wasn't able to provide for you.
But
So
you know
that's
what
it.
I found interesting about your mom?
What?
What I found interesting about your mom was she didn't have any more kids
She
after
couldn't.
that.
She
See?
couldn't. She couldn't. Well, she didn't try until after she got married. Just to share that with you. She couldn't originally, and she didn't want any until after she got married. She said she didn't want to have no more children out of wedlock because she wanted that foundation of a father, mom, and stuff like that. And she swore after she had me that she swear that she would try to find me, first of all. The
Oh, that's
second
great.
thing is that she has swore that she would have she does not have any more children unless there's a stable environment. And to be honest with you, if she had another child, I wouldn't have been upset with that. I would have just been bonding with that sister. I'd have been working
Amen.
on that relationship with that sister. Just like I went and got my biological mom to come and spend with me, I'd be like, hey, sister, you coming too, or brother, or whatever. I would have still, I mean, of course, it would have still been that whole thing of why did you give me up but kept that person. So that would have been there, but I still would have tried to develop that bond. My situation is just different because of my parents instilled a certain energy of love, forgiveness in me. My mother
Oh,
always
wow.
practiced forgiveness. I'm telling you, she would always practice forgiveness. And one thing I do like about my parents, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. One
Okay.
thing I did like about them was that I was able to talk to them about whatever. You know,
Oh,
if,
that's
if a
beautiful.
monkey stepped on my toe, I would go to my father first in most cases. I would go to my father first about a lot of things. That's weird, right? I would go to my father, and then then he would call my mother in on it. Or in some other cases, I would go to my mother. When it came to boys, I would go to my mother.
Right,
When it
right,
came
right,
to
right.
somebody hurting me, or whatever the case is, I would go to my father. You know what I mean? I had different, if I needed something, because my father would be like, no. I would go to my mother and talk to her and make her talk her husband into give me what I want. And
That's right.
I would say it just like to go talk to your husband and tell me to go give me what I want. I said, okay. You
Go
know
talk to
what
your
I mean?
husband.
So I had a unique bond with her. But it was on and off because, like I said, I had that anger within me. Like old girl had. I
Right,
had
of course.
because I blame my biological mom for giving me up. But then after learning more, see, I would probably, if my biological father had lived, I probably would have had that kind of relationship with him. Because the thing about my biological father, the problem with my biological father is that he had another child on the way. He kept him.
Oh, wow.
He married that mother and kept that child. So I felt more about that in that case, but I still kind of understand. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not angry with my brother. I mean, my brother had to do it, number one. Secondly, I couldn't really necessarily be mad at my biological father in that sense. I mean, I still would have had certain resentments a little bit, but I'm able to really work through them. You know what I'm saying? I have a little bit, I ain't gonna lie, but it's not that bad because I mean he wasn't a good father to none of us. Not to me, not to my biological brother or my second brother. And it's like me and my brother, that's underneath me and him talk all the time a lot. You know what I mean? My youngest brother, not so much. I mean, I talked to him Thanksgiving. I sent him a text, and that was about the only thing he did. I was gonna call him, but it's still, I don't. He's not. It's a withdrawment. It's he don't even talk to the other family, and he live in the same town as as our biological father's family live. He's still there. And
Oh,
he has
wow.
adopted. He has children that he's adopted. He got biological and children he's adopted. So it's
Oh,
kind
wow.
of it's a weird situation. And when I talk to him, I feel so weird. I don't feel that I don't feel that love. I ain't gonna lie. Now, from my biological father's sisters who's still alive, they are very sweet to me. They call me. They, we have this connection. They're like, we can't wait to meet you. And after we meet, it's probably gonna be a lot stronger, because they said when they saw pictures of me, they was like, they had no doubt. They was like, yeah, you look like him. Nah, they was like, nah, you look like him more than everybody else do. You know what I mean? So it was a complete bond. And then when I got pictures, and then I started getting pictures from his nieces, and they started sending them to me, and I was just like, wow. I see my little cheekbones, my little high cheekbones, that I look like. And then when I met my brother for the first time, he was like, you look just like that ugly N-word.
Oh, wow.
He was like, but you beautiful and everything. That's exactly how he said. He said, you beautiful and everything, but you look just like him. I ain't gonna lie. He can't deny you. If he would have saw you, he probably would have ran.
Oh, wow. So he knew you was his sister. He said, wow, she looked like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said, you look just like him. You look just like him. His niece was like, yeah, you look like him. She sent me pictures. And he's short too. So no wonder I'm 5'5", right? My biological mom's probably 5'2". He was 5'4". So I'm destined to be short. So,
yeah.
It is what it is.
Dude.
My grandfather was short. On his side, his daddy was short. My biological father, my biological grandfather on my mom's side was tall, though. He was tall. So all the men in their family are taller. All the women in their family are short. So it's weird. It's just like how my family is. All the women are loud, and all the men in their family are quiet. I mean, all the men in their family are quiet. My sons are quiet. My daughter, me and her are loud. My granddaughters, we're loud. They're loud too. My grandson, not so much. My grandsons are really quiet. So it's crazy. I'm like, wow. But anyway, y'all did name something else. But in going back to the movie, because I kind of man, that was a difficult period. So she's bonding, trying to get to know and trying to find her family. I'm telling you, that is certainly, that was the hardest part. Especially when you have a name. Once you have this name and you start trying to find this woman, woman, because you don't really know where you came from. And to find this woman, that very first conversation, I wish I should have taped it. But I can recall, and I'm going to share that with y'all.
Okay.
When I called my biological mom, no, she called me, because
how'd you get her phone number?
Shoot, I searched. I found everything. I had her mother's number. What happened was, let me share this with y'all. So what happened was, I have a cousin, my mother's niece, my mother who raised me's niece. She was in St. Louis at the time. She don't even live in St. Louis, but she just so happened to be like for the weekend or something like that. Because she stays all the way in Illinois somewhere, right? I know where she stayed, but I ain't gonna tell. But anyway, so she stayed in Illinois. So she just so happened to be visiting her mom and stuff like that. And I posted on Facebook. I was kind of sharing my journey on social media. And she's like, hey, you want me to find? I was like, yeah. So I had a whole bunch of addresses, because my biological mom lived like a gypsy, okay, y'all? She done lived in California. She done lived in San Francisco. She done lived in so many different places of the world. I'm like, dang, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to narrow all these addresses down. I found her mother's address. I found her brother's address. Her brother had a ministry. Her brother wrote 2 books, okay? Her twin. And I started finding all these other names, like all her other, I was like, I guess this is siblings. And I started, when I researched her name, her mom's name came up. Her brother's name came up. Or both her brothers. And then her sister name, I was like, I don't even know who all these people are. So I was like, well, why don't I just do the addresses first? Because the telephone numbers, I don't want to be hung up on. I think in the face, people will be harder to throw, slam door in your face as opposed to over the phone. You know what I mean?
Right. That's true.
So my cousin, I wound up shooting an address. It was one of these addresses to one of her friends that she no longer talked to, y'all.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they fell out. You heard me? So my cousin went over there. I ain't gonna say his name, and him and his woman. Okay, she was friends with him and his woman, right? So my cousin knocked on the door. They came to the door, and he was like, "What's up? How can I help you?" Or whatever. Long story short, about that, and because he didn't recognize first, he was like, "Who is that?" You know what I mean? You know how people are. And
Right.
like, my name is such and such. You know, I'm here. I'm trying to. My cousin is searching for her mom, and he was like, "Well, what's your mom's name?" And she told her. She was like, "Vicky," and she was like, "Okay, cool." And he was like, "Vicky, come on in, right?" Because he knew that she was looking for me. So thank God, you know, she knew because he had tried to help her find me, right? And from there, he was like, "Well, I have her number. I have her mama's number. I'm getting ready to call her." And he kept on trying to call her. She was like, "No, we really got something important to tell you." She was like, "I don't know you. Who is this?"
Ooh.
Kept hanging up on them. Quit calling me. And she was cursing them out, right? So he had called her mother, and she was like, yeah. And so she said, she put my cousin on the phone, and she was like, "Well, what is your cousin like?" And she started trying to explain to me. And then of course my cousin showed them pictures of me, and they was like, "Oh, she looked just like her." So she gave my biological grandmother my telephone number, and my biological grandmother had called me that night. And she was like, "Hi." And I was like, "Hi." And then I was like, "Well, what's, your daughter like?" And then she started explaining to me. She's like, "She's the life of the party. She's loud. We're all loud." And, da, 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 da. She ran down and she was like, "I'm sorry we gave you up. I'm glad you found us." And I was like, "I don't need you to say sorry." She's like, "But we want to," she's like, "But I really want to, further know. I'm going to pass this on to my daughter." So then we got off the phone. We was on the phone for about 30 minutes. It was really weird. So then the next day, my biological mom called me. She was like, "May I speak to Mira?" I was like, "This is she." I knew it was her. I just knew it was her.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, "Yeah, this is Miss Vicky, blah blah blah."
Now let me ask you this. Now, is she the one who named you, or you were? This is a name that was given outside of your biological mother.
Both. She named me, and my biological father's sister named me. She gave
Oh,
me
cool.
my biological mom gave me my first name, and my biological sister gave me the second name. It turns out that my auntie really loved the name, and she was gonna name her daughter that, and she told her daughter that. So my cousin remembered that, and that's how my cousin was able to identify me.
Oh, so your mother never changed your name?
No, they changed my name. I've had three of the courses of my lifetime. I've had 3 different birth certificates, and I've had 3 different names.
Oh, wow.
My biological family gave me a name, right?
Right.
Shantae Herring.
Okay.
Second name, my parents who adopted me gave me, right? And then I changed my name a few years ago to Amira Sankofa Kwali. I went to the courts. I did all the things that they require you to do and changed my name.
Good for you.
Again, so she would have never found me because she was trying to find me under Shantae. She couldn't find it.
No,
That name been gone. That
I
name
heard
was
that.
gone since I was adopted.
Wow. See
My
how hard it
parents
is
didn't
to
know how to
find?
pronounce it. Huh?
So look at how fortunate you were. You're blessed to be able to find your mom.
Yeah, my parents couldn't. They said they couldn't even pronounce that name. They wanted to keep that name. They did stick with the theme of the middle name. My old middle name was a D, which is my biological mom's sister named me. So that was D as well. So they tried to keep within the theme, but it wasn't like that. She still would have found me under that name. She would have had to. I don't know how she would have had to go and get the records. But the records were sealed. They were semi-sealed. And the home that I went through, the nuns talking about it's gonna cost me $500, and then they still would have charged me for finding the research and information. And they was also saying that if my biological mom didn't want me to find her, they wouldn't give me information. So why would I pay y'all? Y'all dumb. You get out my face.
Exactly. Yeah, really. Hello.
And so I called her. I said, "Hey, and she said, well, what is the name on your birth? She said, well, before I give you any information, I'm not giving you anything until I know who you are. I was like, okay. And I basically told her, I said, look, I originally was given, my parents changed my name been changed 3 times. Okay. I've had 3 different names. And she's like, really? I said, yeah. So the name that you call me under, I changed that. That's my name that I gave myself. She's like, okay. And she's like, what's the name on the birth certificate? And I told her the name Shantae Herring. I told her the year, the date of, obviously May 3rd, you know, I was born. The time I was born, 6:04 a.m., you know. I told her that, and then I said, well, I'm gonna just send you a picture of the birth certificate. So I sent her a picture of the birth certificate on her phone, and she's like, all right, I'll take a look at it. And I said, and I also will send you a picture. I said, do your phone get text? She said, yeah. So I sent her a picture of me as well. I sent her a picture of her high school picture and a picture of me. And I think I showed you all already. But anyway, I sent that, and so she took a look at it, and she was like, wow. And then when she said she'll call me back, she said, I gotta go work out. I'll call you back in about an hour. No, 30 minutes. Boy, she didn't call me back to 2 hours. And then she called me back.
She probably was calling the family.
Yeah, then she called me back crying. She's like, oh my God, you are her. She's like, I want a relationship with you. I know that's a lot for me to ask, but I really want to meet you. Can you come down and meet me, you know, and yada, yada, yada. And they just went from there. I'm telling you, so I can relate to what y'all in the movie, because when she said mom, everybody turned around. Remember that?
Yeah, wow.
You know, like, yeah, I'm talking to all of y'all. You know, well. And I'm telling you, you know, it does help. It does help, y'all. And I'm telling y'all absolutely that when you are, you know, trying to find your real mom, what I appreciate about my biological mom was the fact that she accepted me, and I'm able to just be myself and still build from where I'm at. Like, I just treat her, I don't know, when she was here, it was really weird, and I was kind of battling in my mind. And I was just like, and I felt I had to apologize to her because I felt like I was being rough with her. I was like, okay, come on, we can ready to go. I was like, I'm so rough. I was like, we can ready to go. I got something I gotta go to the healing center today. We gotta do something. And then I was just like, oh my God. And I was just like, look, I apologize if I was being rough with you. She's like, no, honey, you all right. And I was just like, I think I'm rough. I said, I'm not trying to be rough with you. I don't know. It's just, she's like, you just being yourself. That's how your aunt Debbie is. You just like her. That's all it is. I was like, okay. Because that's how they talk to her. So it's like,
and not only that, but you're grown. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's different if you would have met her when you were 16 or 25, but you're a grown woman. You married, you got grandbabies. It's like, come on, we going.
Yes, that's how I was like, shit, we ain't got time for that, girl. We can go. I'm like, girl, come on. You know what I mean? Like, my daughter called me, my daughter calls me mom and girl sometimes. It depends on what's going on. She's having girl talk with me. She's like, girl. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's right. That's
so
right.
That's kind of how it was with us. So I call her Umi, or I call her bio mom. You know, because I have to separate, because I have to let her know, hey, you did get me up, you know, we cool, I'm okay with it, I understand, but you know, bio mom is what you are. And she's okay with, she said, whatever you call me, just don't call me Vicky, please. I was like, okay, I won't call you Vicky. We'll find a selective name for you.
What's her real name?
Vicky. That's her real name.
But just call her Mama Vicky.
That's too much. Just saying mama, because I call my other mama.
Yeah, but that's Mama, whatever her name is.
I call my mom mama.
That's mom. That's mom, and that's mama such and such.
And then
so
when my
got mom, and you got mama such and such.
And when my mother made me mad, I'd be like, listen, Ruby.
but you know, listen, Ruby. But you know what's really cool? It's like God allowed you to be raised half your life with one mother, and now the rest of your life will be this mother. It's almost like it
as soon as she transcended, I found her.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, but I feel you on that. You know, she did give you up, but she still is mom, and she's doing her part now.
She is. I don't mean it. I'm not trying to say it as cold and as callous, but I can't. I don't.
You're just not being phony. You're not being fake. I get you not being fake.
I just got to be real, because my other mom really raised me, and I really feel like that I'm backstabbing her. You understand what I'm saying? Because
right.
she didn't play about that. Like if she was still around and I had brought her here, ooh, my mom would have had a fit, y'all. She'd be like, I'm coming too. She ain't gonna just be coming there. That's my mom was competitive, y'all.
Well, not that. It's just that.
No, she competitive, Sister Angel. No. Let me tell you something.
But hear me.
Go
What
ahead.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you're her daughter. Even though it's not blood, you're her daughter. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter if you found your real mom or not. You still my daughter. So in her mind, she's like, "Where my daughter going to meet who? I'm coming." You know what I'm saying? So you was her daughter. So she should be like that. Even though we know down there's a story, and but God gave you her. God chose her to raise you, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a blessing. And I get you on that. You respect her for that. She was the one who was there when you cried. She was the one fed you when you was hungry. I get it. I get it.
But check this out, Sister Angel. My mom competitive too. I heard what you said. Let me tell you. Okay, so let me give you an example.
She probably would have asked you which one you like better, huh? You like me better?
Let me tell you something. I went, okay, so you know how you go over your friend's house. I went up to my little friend's house and her mama made some banana pie, banana bread. And that was my first time ever trying it. My mother never made banana bread, okay? So I ate this banana bread. It was really good my first time trying it. So then when I go home, she's like, how did it go with your friend's house? Girl, I was like, since I was about 9 or 10, okay? And I was like, it was really good. Her mom, made a banana bread, and so she was like, no, it was zucchini bread. It was zucchini bread. And I was like, yeah, and it was really good. She's like, is that right? And then she left. She's like, I'll be back. And she said, don't open the door for nobody. I'm coming right back. So she come back with groceries, okay? And I'm like, this ain't Friday. This ain't Saturday. Well, she usually go grocery shopping on Saturday. We'll eat fast food on Fridays. My mother's, one of them, just like me, cook and clean and that good stuff, right? And had a career.
Right.
So I was looking at her like, what's this? And she was like, go down, go in your room. I'll be back in a minute. So I went in my room. I'm playing my little games, laughing and joking or whatever. And I came in. She said, "Come on in here." And I came in there. And she's like, "I made some zucchini. I could do it better. How my zucchini taste? So my zucchini tastes better."
Oh my God. Oh yes.
Yeah, my mom was competitive, y'all.
She is competitive. Oh my God.
Don't y'all ever say somebody cooked something better than her. She's like, oh, they did? Okay, I can do it better. That's what you do. That's how I am, y'all. That's how I am.
That is so cute. That's sweet. She was like, wait a minute, I could do that. I know they up there chopping it up, trying to cook for their kids. I could cook for mine too.
She's like, I can make banana bread too. You like banana bread? I can make it too.
Aww.
I was like, oh Lord. I said, Mama, did you not go to the store? She's like, shut up. Eat this banana bread.
Shoot, no, she's straight up competitive.
She wasn't playing. Now I could imagine if I was like, well, I'm getting ready to go get Vicky and bring her down here so she can meet the children. Well, you need to come get me too. I'll be staying right in the room with her. I'm like, what? That's how my mom was. I'm telling y'all. She wasn't.
You know what? It might have been meant for her not to, because that might have put her through some stress. Thinking, man.
Yep, I agree. But we definitely, I had to talk to her about that. I had to constantly explain to her and keep reassuring her, like, hey, Mom, just because if I ever find the other mom, that doesn't mean I'm gonna ever get rid of you. And I told my daddy that once I found her. I was like, Daddy, I'm not getting rid of her. He'd be like, well, yeah, how's your mom doing? It's weird. He'd be like, how's your mom doing? I'm like, she's doing fine. They want to meet him. He's like, nah, I ain't doing all that. He was like, but you can. So it is what it is. Maybe one day he will. But I think he feels some kind of way too, as far as my mother's concerned. I don't think it's him. I think it's my, he know how my mother was. And he don't want her to be mad at him spiritually. But it is what it is. Can y'all hear me? Where's Sister Angel go? Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, my mother wasn't no joke, y'all. I gotta be real with y'all. My mother was not a joke. She did not play that. My shirts came in, y'all. Oh my goodness, my shirts are here. I am so excited, y'all. I have a gang of things to show y'all. But hopefully Sister Angel comes back. I do know her she's been experiencing some issues. So hopefully she come back alive. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to carry this box. I had to open my door. My packages have been delivered, and I'm so excited. I got these new shirts that's on my website. If y'all go to my website, I ain't carrying up because I look crazy. I got a scarf on my head, and I got on my pajamas. Anyway, I really hope everybody goes and looks at that movie, and it's definitely a tearjerker a little bit. And the acting is not too bad. The characters, hold on, let me ask this energy back. Excuse me. The characters aren't too bad either. The acting was pretty good, actually. I just didn't like. Only thing I didn't like was the rug on that man's head. Other than that, I was really pissed at that. I was like, why would they do that?
Yeah, it's like, really? What's that?
But other than that, I thought it was a pretty good movie. It's free. Y'all need to watch this movie. Maybe we can have further discussion about this movie.
Yeah, the movie was amazing. It really was. And thank you so much, Dr. Mira, for allowing me to come up on your panel and just sharing with you and just kind of, doing movie reviews, because it really is nice to come on and just share some information on movies we watched and how we thought about it. And I thought it was a good movie. I give it a, out of 1 to 10, I give it a 10.
Me too.
1 to 5, I give it a 5. It was a really good movie, good acting, great storyline. It talks about, forgiveness. And also, when you really want to do something, go for it.
Man, Sister Angel, you been forcing me to watch movies I just don't want to watch. But
right?
But I know I do too, though. I know I do. And I be trying to get back at you.
She said, I'm gonna make you watch this now. What about that?
Right. How you feel about that? No, I'm just playing.
No.
But no, I'm for real though.
You are not.
No, I don't mind. I actually like that. I actually like that you take me out of my comfort zone of movies and being able to see that movie, because I don't like crying, man. Crying pisses me off, but crying is really good for the soul, to be honest.
It sure is. It sure is. But we don't want to cry too much.
Yeah, I don't like
Man. Yeah, so I guess hit me up and let me know what the next movie will be. I better get up out of here. I got to go to my mom's tomorrow. Keep me in prayer, sis.
I
I'm
will.
taking care of my mom. She's not been well, but this is nice because this takes me out of having to focus on other things, that's not so comfortable. So this is a blessing. And I think it's so good to come on live because there's a lot going on, and when you can come live, it gets you out of being depressed or focusing on something negative, but looking at other things in life. You know what I'm saying? Life goes on. And, all praises. So thank you so much for allowing me to come up here and just share my thoughts on the movie. And also, you also watching it, trusting my pick. But it's on you next Wednesday, girl. It's on you.
I know. I got it. I got a good movie for us.
Oh, yeah.
I got a movie. I'm going to get a movie for you and your husband, because I know your husband likes them action films.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Sugar Love. And hey, Sugar Love, me and you need to get together sometime. Dr. Amira told me about your channel. I checked your channel out. I just been busy, and I see that me and you probably should go live sometime, or even me, you and Dr. Amira, maybe all three of us.
She'll be a great connection for you, because I love me some Sister Love with her Leo. She a Leo.
Oh, praise God. Well, maybe we can go on Sugar Love channel sometime. We can be a guest on your channel.
Really good channel.
Yeah. And we can talk about something she want to talk about and just kind of go and show some love over there. That would be awesome.
Yeah, she has a good energy about her. I love me some Sugar Love. She every time I
I
come to
know.
her channel, she be like, "Look, Dr. Mira, yay! Look at my."
Yeah, we should pick a good topic and go over on her channel and just, hang out, and then we can come on my channel, hang out, go on your channel, hang out, just kind of, show some love, you know, for my sisters in the house. Why not? Why not? We can have a nice topic and just talk about we can talk about YouTube, how we feel about YouTube, the goods, how to grow your channel, blah blah blah. There's a lot of people that want. I've had people on my comments asking me, Angel, when are you gonna do a video on how do you do YouTube? And
Yeah,
sometimes people just want to grow their channel. They want to meet other people. They just want to build a good community, and they want positivity. And I think it starts with the people you have in your on your channel.
yeah.
So yeah, Sugar Love, whenever you like, you know, here's my email. Put in here, Angel Online.
Put
Hit
your
my email up. I'm good on Angel Online at ATT. I'm good on Wednesdays after I do movie reviews with Dr. Mira. If you want me, Dr. Mira, put your email address in there. She can email us, let us know what day to come on her channel. She can send us a link, and we can chit chat and just have just hanging out with Sugar Love. How about that?
right.
I'm down with that. Just hanging out and just being positive and loving on the people in your community. And we'd love to have you. I'd love to have you come hang out with me sometime and hang out with Dr. Mir sometime. So hit us up on those emails and let us know on a day. Is Wednesdays good for you too, uh, Dr. Mir?
What I mean, I can work around the clock. I'm kind of, as long as I ain't doing no healing or whatever, I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, because Wednesdays is good. Because see, with my mom being ill, I go over there in the Bay Area. I'm in San Francisco for a couple of days a week. So, and then got to spend time with the husband. All praises. And then I do my prayer stream on Monday. So the middle of the week is good for me because that's when I do my Bible study. Doing reviews with Dr. Mira, and it's that open day where I can just hang out. Yep,
Ooh,
yep.
y'all. Wait till y'all see. I'm so excited. My little stuff came today. Wait,
All right,
I'm
sis.
gonna camera up. No, I ain't gonna camera. I was gonna show y'all a picture. I'll just take a picture and post it. I ain't gonna put it. I ain't coming online. No, no, no.
Okay, or yeah, yeah, or show or do it. Hey, why don't you do a video about it?
Yeah, I
Why
will.
not? Do a video about it. Put it up there. We'll watch it. I will.
Right. I do it. I got my little stuff.
Matter of fact, I'll probably be listening to you tomorrow because every time I go to San Francisco, I always because I know you be on your live stream for at least 30 minutes to an hour, so it's entertaining for me. I could listen. You'd be surprised how many people listen to like when you ladies do your live streams.
Mhm.
Um, no, I kind of have a Instagram Sugar Love, but I shut it down, so it's nothing on there right now. I had too many demonic people over there. I had to just shut that thing down. And I know people love their Instagram, but I love my peace. I said, man, shut this down. So I started another one. I'm not on it very much. The best way to catch me is through my email or when I'm live or in any of my comments. I'm always reading comments to get back to people. But yeah, when I go to my mom's, I always go to your channel to see if you have any live streams because people listen back to live streams. Like when I do my Monday night prayer stream, I can look at the hours and it can say, let's say I have, let's say if I get off my live stream, I have about, let's say, 1,000 hours of watch time that people actually watch. The next time I check it, it'll be like 1,700 watch time hours, meaning 700 people came after the stream and just listened to what we were saying. And I said, wow, people really sit and listen. And if they're interested in your topic, they will listen. Like I enjoy listening to what you have to say, Dr. Mir. So I always enjoy when I'm in the car. I have 2 hours to get to San Francisco. So I say, okay, let me get my coffee. What Dr. Mir talking about? And I might put you on for an hour and just be driving and listen to. And that's why I be commenting on the video. And so don't think your live streams as YouTube creators are a waste of time. No, people will go back and listen to you if they enjoy what your content is. And I find on my live streams, I get the most views doing live streams. More than when I do, if I just do like a 15-minute video or something. I mean, I'll get a few hits, but I'm just saying when I do my live stream, that's when you get, because it's not really about the views if you're using YouTube as a business, it's the watch time minutes. So when you're doing those live streams, that's when when they're going to put them commercials on there and all that kinds of stuff. So that's just some information I'm sharing. But anyway, I do enjoy listening to Dr. Amira. Love you guys. Yeah. YouTube don't send me your notifications. Yeah, they kind of show up. Yeah, I try to put them on my community post, or I'll put them on my Facebook, or I put them on my Twitter. I don't really promote my channel anymore like I used to. I got too much going on right now, so I just become consistent. I come on and do reviews with Dr. Amira when she's available. I'm going to be on Monday nights, and then in between I'll throw up stuff. But I just let people know my community. Boom, I'm live right now. I'll go to my Facebook and my Twitter, and I just let people know. And then some people come back, and sometimes they don't. But either way, I love it. I love it. As long as it's positive, and I got my sisters and brothers up there enjoying, especially my prayer stream. I love prayer streams. Right. That's what's up. I've been so blessed through that prayer stream has been growing actually, and people been emailing me through my website for prayer. So I'm happy to do that because Dr. Mel, we all know, and Shika love prayer. God answers prayer.
Prayer is effective.
Amen, honey. Amen. And not only that, but I've been I have also been experiencing some supernatural things lately in the spirit. So I'm really excited that God is increasing my spiritual gifts, because when you're obedient, meaning you listen to the laws of the kingdom of the Most High, and you are loving and kind, and you're trying to do better as a person, and you're growing your spirit being a light worker. God will increase your gifts. And I'm telling you, it is a beautiful thing. You don't care about no views. You don't care about, unnecessary things. You just love God, because what God got for you, honey, woo, it's what's up. Ain't that right, Dr. Mary?
That's right. I got something to say, y'all. Something.
Hey! Bring it.
Got a hold on me.
Amen.
Y'all, listen to my Al Green, boy. I'm telling y'all, when I do some driving, I throw on the greatest hits of Al Green, and I listen to so much Al Green that I woke up this morning, Sis Angel, when I just woke up from a nap when I jumped on the live stream, right?
I heard
and
that.
I was listening. I heard Al Green in my head. I was like, everything.
Love and happiness. Hey.
Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for thank you so much for coming through, y'all. Y'all know how Sister Angel and myself, we'll bust out in song and any right. We reserve the right to sing as we want to.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you so much, y'all. Have a blessed evening.
Peace,
we'll get back with y'all. Number share.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, peace. Where my thing at? Here it is.
You're watching Dr. Amira and Kofa. #DRASK. #Queen of Weirdos.
Death is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The cemeteries are full of people who've passed from a preventative illness. With the correct approach, you not only extend your chances of preserving your life, but you will improve the quality of your life with the natural approach. The earth provides energy healing herbs for the benefit of mankind.
Hello, I'm Amira Sankofa Kwali here at As Life Coaching Ministries. We're located at 1921 West Broadway. We've been in the healing business for over 20 years. To order my products, go to www.as314life.com. I'm available 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Namaste.